Welcome to What in the Actual Mental Health. We are so ready for this.
We're lots of ready.
We're so ready. It's going to be great.
What are we going to talk about today? Cupcakes?
Cupcakes. Oh, I love a cupcake.
You said you.
Do you know the best way to eat a cupcake? And somebody stole this from me, and I'm pissed because somebody else tried to claim it.
I know what you're going to say.
You take the bottom off, and you put it on top, and you make a little sandwich. I've been doing that my whole life. And I saw some kid one time do it and tried to claim it. And I was like, the fuck you will, you 9-year-old. And I flicked her in the forehead.
Shut up. You did not.
I did.
There's also like a celebrity that does that. And
yeah,
she did
because
it
she learned it from me.
She did it on like a talk show. Whether
Yeah,
it was
because
like
she
Ellen
learned it from me.
or something. I'm just keep talking. Anyway.
Ellen DeGeneres eats children, so I don't think it was her.
No, we just took a really far left turn. I was talking about fucking cupcakes.
I told you we were coming in hot today.
You said,
yeah. Good weeks to go. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk about trauma.
Shocker.
Do you know anything about that?
Not at all.
In the line of work that you do?
No, I actually don't. I'm not certified in it at all.
None of certifications.
None of the certs.
In this house.
No, not this girl.
All right, ready?
Not any. Put it up there.
Here's the thing. I am going to.
Get it in
but
there.
I have to, play it first. It looks good.
That you didn't know are signs, so you think they're just part of your personality. First sign, you thank too much when someone is kind to you. That's because you're not used to someone doing something good for you. Second sign, you apologize, even when you haven't done anything wrong. That's because you always got blamed, even when it wasn't your fault. Third sign, you think you can't remember your childhood. It's not because you're forgetful, but because your brain pushed those memories away to help you survive. Fourth sign, you can't really accept compliments. You think you're humble? No, it's because you don't believe those compliments. Fifth sign, you never ask for help, and it's hard for you to do it. It's because you're used to handling everything alone, as there was never someone you could rely on. If you're not following, you will probably never hear my voice again.
That's
but
not
if
true.
you are,
It's Anthony Hopkins.
congratulations.
You're gonna hear
You're
it
growing
forever.
every day.
Or if you just
You're
watch
growing
Silence
every
of
day.
Yes, watch Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Some fava beans.
Some.
It's my favorite movie.
Shut up. With murder.
Yeah.
Do you identify with any of those?
No, not one. All of them.
I'm 3 of the 5.
I was going to say probably. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I
do.
remember I have like huge chunks, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I definitely don't do well with compliments. Compliments make me
No, I know.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Instantly, I'm like, and then
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I hate it. What was the last one? Doing things on your own. Yeah, I'll find a way to cremate myself when I die, rather than have somebody do it for me.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Drive myself to my funeral.
Let's see if they just oh no, I don't want to hear the whole thing.
Oh, get it, Anthony. Get those fava beans.
Oh, dang. We are going to have to. So 5 signs. Number 1, you thank too much when someone is nice to you because you don't think, you don't know what it's like to have people be nice to you.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Well,
I don't do that all the time. It depends on how well I know you. But yeah, if I don't know you and you're nice to me, I'm assuming you're going to try to kill me.
That's true. You do. You do that.
When people are like,
I don't know if it's, you could kind of move or shift that to you don't know what to do when people are nice to you.
Yeah. That one's weird for me.
Yeah. Because you're not used to good things happening. The other one is you apologize even when you haven't done anything wrong.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably 5 out of 5, actually, on this.
I don't do. I used to apologize when I haven't done anything wrong. Like maybe I'm sorry, can we move this? Or I'm sorry, you didn't show up to this thing on time.
Yeah.
Can we move it? I don't know. I used to start everything out I'm sorry. And now I'm this is how it is.
Yeah. Can we just move?
You're welcome. Yeah.
Please don't do anything else after that.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I think I've gotten a little bit better about that when it comes to business, where I'm just this is what we're doing. I have to move this and here's what's happening. Or I understand you're uncomfortable, but here we go.
Right.
I'm not as good at it in my personal life. Probably I have a tendency to be overly apologetic for things that are not. It's even for Father's Day, our Father's Day dinner was a fucking disaster, and I mean we went somewhere, and it was a nightmare. And the entire time I was I'm so sorry. This is so terrible. I really feel bad, and I did. I genuinely felt so shitty because it's Father's Day and it was ruined and it was not enjoyable. The food was gross. It was a whole fucking thing. And I was like, I'm so sorry, you know, and Angela was like, it's not your fault. Like, none of those were your things. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
True, but I planned them,
But
so
I know I put it in motion, and now here we are. So
inadvertently, it's my fault.
it's my fault for sure. And it's funny because there was like a while back I was at, I think, Sprouts at the grocery store, and I was trying to. Oh no, I was looking at something on one of the aisles, and this woman walked in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I like scooted back, and she was like, flips around, and she's like, "Why are you sorry?" And I was like, "Are we gonna fight in Sprouts? Like, I don't. This is organic shit. I thought these were like some white people things. Like, oh my god, like what is happening?" And I was like, I don't know what to do." And she was like, "If you were a man, you would not apologize." And I was like, "Wow, that escalated very quickly in
Yeah,
the
you were
fucking
very
garbanzo bean section." Like,
clearly
fuck.
triggered.
Yeah, I was just standing there. I was like, I don't need any of. I'll just put the whole fucking thing I have in my hand down. And she was like, "You don't apologize. I walked in front of you. I'm the one that should apologize." And I was like, I don't even know what to do right now other than like shit my pants and go home.
You're all.
I was like, okay, fuck you then. I don't know. Like, what do you say?
Thank you for being hostile.
Dick for teaching me, I guess. I don't know. And I was like, okay. I don't really know that it needed to be like anything like man versus woman or that big of a deal.
Yeah, or at all.
Or
No,
yeah,
no,
you
that
could have just kept walking.
We're
Yeah.
strangers.
Yeah, so wherever you are, it's fine. I'm sorry. Just kidding. Yeah. So yeah, I am working on it though, because I do recognize, and it's funny because like my mom does it all the time, and I'll call her on it. I'm like, hey, you don't need to be sorry, and our son does it, and we've been on him about it, being like, what are you sorry for? And then he'll like stop, and we're like, exactly. So I definitely see where it becomes like habitual, and you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, and it's like, for what?
Well, too, I think when you're codependent, like you were saying, like everything went to hell in a handbasket and it was totally out of your control. And you're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like those of us that are codependent, when someone else is like upset, you immediately are like, oh, I have to take that and I have to like negate my thing. And I have to feel your pain. I'm like, yeah. I used to be like that a lot. It's so interesting. I feel like this is definitely therapy on the air for sure.
Always.
But I think like in the last year and change since we've been doing this, it's a long time.
It is a long time.
I know.
Yeah. Look at us going strong and hard. You're
And
welcome.
hard. Right in there. That when we talk about these things, I'm like, oh damn, I'm kind of healed.
Yeah.
Like not like
Not all the way.
all the way.
This is a marathon, motherfuckers.
Well, that's like
1
healing-
mile in.
Well, yeah, healing's like an ongoing journey. You know,
Yeah, it
it's
better
not
be.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
I
Which
did
is the
the one
hard part.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to be like super apologetic and like, oh my God, if somebody was upset, like I had to go and save the day.
Yeah.
And I do still like to be Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yeah.
But I have like
This is the job we're in.
noticed that I do that. And so sometimes I'm like,
"Ooh, I
oh,
pull
yep.
back."
I have to be like, I can't, you
Yeah.
know, like I need to not, because I have a lot going on and like my family I just have a very busy life.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful, but like now I'm at the point where I notice it and I'm like, oh, you're struggling. That sucks.
Right.
I will
But-
listen to you, but
Right.
I'm not going to pick it up and carry it
Yeah.
for you.
I think I've gotten a lot better about that part where I'm not like instantly fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tendency, especially with my employees, to feel like I need to do that where they're like, hey, and I just like, wait a minute, like wait a second and see if they'll figure it out. And the same thing with our son, right? Which is what screws kids up and has caused them more harm than good is
Yeah.
that people are quick to be like, here, don't struggle. Let me fix this for
Yeah.
you. Let me figure this out. Whereas like our generation, it was like, pull the fucking oven on top of you and you'll learn. Like, you'll
Yeah.
be fine, whatever.
My dad's like favorite line used to be like, rub some dirt on it, walk it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
I was like,
well,
that's
my
not that
arm fell
bad.
off. Can you rub the whole arm in
Yeah.
the dirt?
Yeah. So, like my eyeball's hanging out and he's like, just put some dirt in it.
Nope.
You'll be fine. Yeah. And I think that's where you have to like start to also recognize is like the instant trying to fix the things for everybody is more detrimental than it is ever good because then nobody ever learns.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have like the whole not asking for people for things. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday and and it's so funny because my mom is literally the exact opposite. She will ask everybody all the things like, where do I find this? Where's that? You know, like she wants like these details to like, how do I get here and this, that? And she'll call me from outside. I'm standing outside. Where do I go now? And I'm like, through the fucking door. Why are you asking me? And it's so funny because she and my son both too, like he's like that where he'll just like, he'll ask for things. Like we'll go somewhere and he's like we had gone to a hotel and he's like, hey, can we stay on the top floor? And I was like, ooh, stop asking for things. And they're like, sure. And I was like, God damn it, what? And it's funny because like I have the tendency to be so far to the other side where I'm like, I will literally walk around in circles until I find the door rather than just stop and ask somebody, hey, where do I find this?
Nope.
And they're very much like they always ask. And I'm like, and it's so funny because it's like when people do that, I have a tendency to get irritated where I'm just like,
I'm like,
fuck,
stop.
can you just figure it the fuck out?
Yep. I'm like, stop looking at me.
Like, oh, and then it's like my curse is that everywhere I go, people assume I'm working. Like I'll be at Walmart, like in this, and they're like, could you tell me where the wrenches are? And I'm like, I don't fucking work here, but they're on aisle 9.
They're not on aisle 9.
They're really not. I think it's like 27. But
depends on the fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
And does that Walmart even sell wrenches?
I know. I don't even know. That's not my thing. I don't work there. But Angela's always like, well, it's because you always look like you're working, I think. Maybe.
Because you never fucking relax.
Yeah, he's you're just like, look like you always like a mission. I'm going to go somewhere.
You're a perma work.
Yeah, even when we were in Italy, this lady walked up to me and she's like, do you know where the bathroom is? I was like, I'm not even from this country. So it's downstairs to the left.
But you just still answer.
But I do, and that's like the funny part, and that's what I was talking about with this girl Olivia, who I met yesterday, who was amazing, and we were both talking about like how funny it is that we'll still be like, I don't actually work here, but it is 3 doors to the left, and you're gonna want to jiggle the knob. It's like this is why that keeps happening, but it's the curse to bear. So, yeah, I definitely don't ask for help, but I could get better at the apologies. I'm not great at that. I'll work on that next year.
We don't have time this year.
I really don't. The list is long. Yeah. The list is very long on the fixing.
Long and deep.
The not remembering your childhood thing, that's interesting because I have a lot of people, especially when we do EMDR therapy, people will ask me, like, is this going to pull stuff up from my childhood? And the answer is, I don't know. Nobody does.
Like, probably.
No idea. Yeah, more than likely, something will, whether you can tie it to that or whatever. It's hard to say for sure. It's not necessarily like that, like people think because of the movies and stuff. But sometimes it does pull up certain things. But it's always, and then they'll ask me, like, why is it that I can't remember? And it's like, well, it's like if you put too much in your dishwasher, right, what's going to happen? It'll explode. There's just water everywhere. Your brain is very much worried about that same process happening and very lovingly and kindly wants to tuck away the shitty stuff as far back as humanly possible in your filing cabinet and then just shut the door as much as it can. It's kind of like Bruce Almighty when he opens, when he's talking to God and he opens the filing cabinet. That's like all your trauma. Yeah, exactly. And that's what would happen. But there's a lot. Like there's a shit ton. And I do remember some of the not so great stuff, like waiting at the mall parking lot for my dad for 8 hours. But when I was like 6, but I don't know. There's a lot I don't remember. No idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember a significant amount of my childhood.
Yeah?
Like a lot of it. Yeah.
Is that like a good thing? Or
I don't know.
Yeah?
I mean, I remember a lot of fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it.
Huh.
But then it's like, I don't know if there's stuff I don't remember. Like people ask me like, oh, were you ever sexually abused? Because I was in like the environment that I was in. Right. I mean, to my knowledge, no. And I never questioned, like, I wonder if something happened.
Right.
Like I'm pretty much like 99% positive that I wasn't like sexually abused.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that would be something that potentially my brain would be like, well, let's not remember every detail.
Yeah, but parts
or right
of it.
away. Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
But I don't, I mean, I remember lots of traumatic things.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's kind of a curse. I don't know. But like thinking back on it, maybe this is definitely like trauma related, is that I remember it and I'm not like sad about it. I'm just like, that happened.
Yeah. Like almost compartmentalized with it.
Very much like, yeah. Like I could say it in the same breath that like I would say like my coffee's on the counter.
Yeah.
It doesn't like faze me.
Yeah.
But when I tell people, they're like, what the fuck?
That's when I realize I'm fucked up. Because like I'll say like a story about something and they're like, and I'm like, oh, you're uncomfortable. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
We can't ever talk again.
Not how. Yeah. That's
I have to go to another country. So goodbye. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what happens when you've had like a significant amount of trauma is you do, and I see it in people. I had a client not too long ago who opened up about something very traumatic that happened to her, and very much just said it like, I'm going to go to Walmart and get some bread, just very matter of fact, this is what happened, and then was like ready to talk about something totally different. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second, like you got to kick it back for, I was like, whoa.
all of your appendages. We have to talk about
Yeah,
that.
I was like, whoa, like, yeah, like you got to kick that back a freaking notch. But it's because, like, when so many traumatic things continue to happen, you do have to compartmentalize and put it in a box, or you will implode. But part of that is, too, is it taking those boxes down and then dealing with what's in them, or else your boxes will start to leak. And you don't want a leaky box. Nobody wants that.
A lot of times, in every aspect, you don't want a leaky box.
You really don't. In fact, you should call Kat if you have one of those. That's a different type of therapy. That's a different problem. Yeah, or go to the emergency room.
Whatever's closer.
Yeah, whatever is fastest is fine.
Yeah,
so definitely Kat, because fuck the ER. You're never going anywhere with that. Yeah. So yeah, I could definitely. And it's funny because sometimes I'll remember something and I'm like, do I actually remember that, or is that a story that I just know somebody told me? Like, I can remember my mom telling me. There's probably no way I remember this myself because I was really little, but apparently I was like Houdini, and I would get out of my crib. I would get out of our house, and like we lived in an apartment, I think, and my mom would like be taking a nap because she worked, I don't know where, I think she was working at the ER at this time in Farmington, and she would get up and like she would go looking for me and I would be gone, and then the front door would be wide open and I'd be like, this is what's even funnier, is I'd be like out in like the play area, not playing with kids, playing with the like cats, like the stray cats that were in the neighborhood, which makes more sense. Like, and the more we learn. And I was like, and she'd be like, oh my God, like panicked, like full fucking panic. And so she had put one of those, like, I don't know if you remember these from like the 80s and 90s. It was like that plastic like clip that you put on your doors. I figured out how to get that off. I figured out how to get the chain off, like anything and everything. I would figure out how to get it off and then get the fuck out. And she was like, it was the worst taking a nap because I was 100% sure you were going to get out. And every time I did. And I was like, well, can't hold me down. That's what that is. But I was little, so there's no way. I'm pretty sure I just remember that because she told me. But I think it's funny also that it was the cats that I was playing with and not the children in the neighborhood. I was like, fuck them kids.
Yeah, that's
Play with
definitely
that stray right there with
no
some
sign
fleas.
of autism here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was never a
Does your
fucking
kid make eye contact or just play with the animals?
Yeah, exactly. Does your kid also know, oddly, a large amount of animal facts, but is bad at math? I didn't get that tism. So, yeah. So that's why I always ask people, like, are you sure you remember that? Or is that like a story that someone told you? But there are some pretty horrible things I remember, but there's big chunks. Big chunks. And when I died and came back, that whole time that I was in the hospital, I only remember 2 days out of that entire time. I remember us getting there and basically going home. And there's nothing else I remember, which caused me a ton of anxiety when I very first got home. It was really creepy for me to realize that, like, I had missed Easter. I had, like, missed, like, these huge chunks of time and had no idea about anything that had happened. I ended up with, like, agoraphobia for, like, 3.5 weeks. I could not leave the house without losing my shit. And then I chilled out and I still don't remember anything. So there's that. So, yeah.
Do you ever have dreams about it?
No. The only thing I remember is dying. I do remember dying. Like, and this is what everybody always asks. They're like, did you see the white light? No, I didn't, because I'm not ready, clearly, to go to anywhere, hopefully. But I don't remember a white light. It was exactly, and I didn't realize this until about a year ago. I did the very first one of those true float things where you float in the salt water. I was in the little pod that they put you in, and I like shut the door and I was floating, and all of a sudden I was like, I've been here before. And that's exactly what it was like when I died, is I was like in what I described as like a womb where you're just like floating. It was very dark, but it was very warm and it was not scary at all. And then I just heard somebody say, it's not your time. I'm not ready for you to go yet. There's things for you to do. And that was that. And then that's all I remember. But I don't ever dream about it. I don't ever remember, like, I had like full conversations. Like, one of my friends told me I had like a whole tea party. I was like setting up a tea party in my bed of like all this stuff. And I was like preparing everybody for my funeral. She said it was horrible. She's like, it was so scary to watch because you were just having this full conversation about getting stuff ready and making this tea party and then talking about your funeral. She said it was real fun to watch. I don't remember any of it. Yeah. Apparently I made up like a whole story about one of the nurses, like to the point that I was like, her husband cheated on her and he announced it on the speaker and how bad he felt. So much so that when she came in the room, my mom asked her, like, do you know my daughter? And she's like, I've never met her before. But the story was so convincing that everybody thought I for sure knew what was really going on. Yeah, I talked to some dead people apparently too. Saw some like dead people there and was having people talk to them. But that's all. But I don't remember any of it. Not one bit.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 weeks, almost 4, almost a month. Yeah, I remember literally the ambulance ride. We got there in the emergency room. And then I remember waking up and being in a different room, like facing the wrong direction. And I was like,
The fuck?
yeah, I was like, that's weird. I know this isn't the way I was facing. And then it was time to go home. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was super crazy. I don't remember any of it. And my mom said that they would come, you know, and this is something I didn't know and she didn't even know because the movies obviously portray this very differently. So I was intubated and they had me on a shit ton of propofol and fentanyl. So much so that she was like, could you lower that so she's not a hooker on Central when we get the fuck out of here? And they're like, well, she'll be uncomfortable. And my mom's like, well, she's not going to be a whore. So could you lower that dose, please? Thank you. But what they would do is that they would come in and they would like lower it so much so that I would wake up a little bit so that they could have me get out of bed and do physical therapy. And then they would like put me back in the bed and then higher it, you know, take the level back up. And then I would go back to sleep. And she said it was the weirdest thing to watch because she's like, you're walking around with like the tube in and all the things and they're walking you around and then they just put you back to sleep. And I was like, oh, that's gross. Yeah. They had to come in and like scrub out my like lungs. I don't remember any of that. Thank God. Supposedly one of my friends at the time, she was a nurse. She said it was one of the worst things she's ever watched somebody do. Sounds enjoyable. But I don't remember any of it. Yeah. My mom was all sad because they had to like cut my pajamas off when I died so they could do all the things. She's like, I had just bought you those jammies. And there they were. But yeah, I don't remember. So, and it took my mom quite a while to tell me all of the story. She would tell me little bits and nobody would tell me the full story. I had to get little bits from everybody. And then I started putting it together and then I got my medical records and then put it together more because nobody wanted to talk about it. Yeah, it freaked everybody out. I get it. I mean, I feel bad that everybody had to be a part of that because it's not fun. Doesn't sound enjoyable.
You should probably apologize to them.
I probably did, actually. I'm sure that I did. If I didn't, you'll get one this week.
That's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think there's 3 probably like the most traumatic experiences. Obviously one when my dad died, the next one would be when my aunt died, fucking 90 days later. And then when I died, well, I was very close to dying, when I had Lila and I hemorrhaged.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them were incredibly traumatic for like different reasons. But I remember fucking every detail.
That is so interesting.
Everything.
Yeah, apparently my brain is like, not today, Satan.
I mean,
interesting.
I don't know why. Again, I have no idea like why you would remember, why one person could remember something. Because fuck, I would really like to not have remembered.
See, and I would like to remember some things. It drives me nuts.
Well, some things, but I don't think you really need to remember them scraping your fucking
No, that
lungs.
doesn't sound enjoyable. That sounds like that was gross and
well, that's
terrible.
what I mean. But like, there's nothing I don't remember. I mean, down to like the size of the NG tube that they were putting in my aunt's like nose because I was trying to help them get her NG tube in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, with that, it was that my aunt's like last couple of days, like 2 or 3 days, was like, whoa, this is yeah, because like I had just done the thing with my dad and it was like real fucking fresh.
Yeah. And it's like, do it again.
Yeah, they're like, could we do it again, but like with a twist?
Right.
But it was a little more like graphic. Like I don't know if I should like share it or I guess we've shared plenty of discussing things, but like
I just talked about my lungs getting scraped out.
that's fair. But what I'm about to say is a little grosser,
okay.
but it's fine.
I like that.
I mean, I've told this story before. So like my aunt had gastric cancer, but it was on the outside of her stomach, not on the inside. So initially when they did a scope and they biopsied her stomach, like previously, like 2 or 3 months before that, they were like, she doesn't have cancer.
Nothing. Yeah.
And they, just because they, how the fuck would they know?
Yeah, wrong side.
And insurance is a bag of dicks, and they went like a hole, all the dicks in one bag.
Literally.
And so rather than them be like, okay, let's just get a scan, they were like, you have to biopsy first. And if it's positive, then you can get a scan and it's deemed medically necessary.
Right.
But anyway, they biopsied the inside and she was fine.
Yeah.
So by the time we caught it in October, they finally had sent her for a scan because she was having wicked back pain. And it was, they scanned her like September 30th. Scan came back on October 2nd. And my aunt called me and she's like, hey, can you like read this scan for me? because I don't think it looks good. And because it had popped up in her my chart.
Oh yeah.
Which is fucked up that they would pop
and
that
they
up.
always do that.
I hate that.
Always.
And I was like, oh my God. It had engulfed her entire stomach, stranded out around to her like pancreas and her like liver. Like it was just like wrapped up her esophagus.
Oh, that's fucking
like
terrible.
Just like wrapped.
Yeah.
Like there is no, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's that kind of cancer. So I was like, oh my God. And I was the one that like read that. And then I had to fucking go to her house and tell her, this is my godmother. Like 3 months after my dad died.
Right. I was going to say, and right after your dad.
Not even 3 months. At that point, it had been July. It was August, September. So 2 months after my dad died.
Jesus.
So my mom and I go over there and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be sick. And so I like tell her the whole thing, whatever. And we have to take her to the hospital. She's in the hospital for a while. They're like, okay, we're going to try and get a report. So we go to like the same fucking oncology place, the same fucking nurses, the same doctors, all that. And then I go out of town for like a long weekend. It was like Thursday through Sunday. And they call me on Saturday and they're like, she has a clot from her like femoral all the way down to her ankle. And her leg was, I'm not exaggerating, this big. She was tiny, like knee tiny. And her leg was this big all the way down and it's purple. Oof. I'm like, oop, we're going to lose that leg.
Yeah.
If we not, yeah, okay. So they took her. She couldn't even fucking walk and it happened. And cancer patients run the risk of clots. So they get her to the hospital and she never came home, but she started getting like constipated like my dad was. And it's like, it's not that, yes, they're constipated, but their organs are failing.
Right.
You know, and so it's causing stomach pain. It's causing all these things. And so, then she like couldn't eat, she couldn't swallow. It was like she was nauseous all the time. There's like the whole thing. And they were like, we have to get an NG tube in her to start suctioning things out of her stomach. And she was vomiting and it looked like coffee grounds. And then when I got closer, it was like feces. Like she had, there was like a fistula where she was just vomiting up feces. Yeah. And then we're like trying to get an NG tube, which is like a tube that goes in your, like it's a nasal tube, and it goes down into your stomach. And we would get it halfway and then it would hit. And it was like obviously hitting a tumor. Like there's no chance that that's not like, and I knew what was happening, but my cousin and my mom didn't. And I was like, this is fucking terrible. And like she's like leaning over the bed because they have you like tripod over the bed. So like it basically creates like a much easier way to like get the tube in. So it's like going in and it's like going down to like right about here. And then it's just fucking jam. Like I was trying, the two nurses were trying, and she's just like tears are streaming down her face and I'm like holding her and she's like vomiting feces and I'm like holding the bucket like right in front of her and I'm like, well, I'm fucked for life. I'm fucked for life. That's it.
That's all I got.
And then I finally like made the call to put her on hospice because my cousin couldn't. And I was like, we have to do this right now.
Yeah,
and
it's horrible.
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Whole family comes up, church group comes up, everyone's singing songs and same fucking thing with my dad.
Yeah.
Everybody goes home, and I was, it's the first time I'd showered in like 5 days. Get out of the shower. Finally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to lay down in bed. And like within 15 minutes, my cousin called, and he's like, my mom's gone. So we go there, and the morgue finally shows up to take her, and they turn her. So we're sitting like on a couch like this, and she's right here in the bed, like right in front of us. And they flip her this way to like get the sheet under her so they can wrap her. Right. And she turns and all the fucking like shit is just like draining out of her mouth, at me. And I was like, and I just like turned to my cousin like away.
Yeah. Like don't even.
Yeah. Like, yeah. But I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember the fucking smells of the room, the hall, everything she was wearing.
Yeah.
Everything I was feeding her, fucking down to the moment.
I wonder if part of that is because you had like such a traumatic event with your dad and then that one right after, that your brain was just so hyper focused
maybe
on like this is what's happening, because like you think about like when trauma happens or like traumatic things are happening, right? Your vagus nerve is like activated as fuck, right? So it's trying to keep you safe by opening up your eyes more and like helping, like holding your bladder so you don't piss yourself while you run from whatever's trying to kill you. Opens up your heart, like all those things, right? And I'm wondering if because that hadn't like settled yet after, your dad had died and then this happened, I'm wondering if it just is like what kind of opened your brain in a different way to like hold that than it would if they had been like years apart.
Maybe. I also remember my dad's to the T.
Yeah.
Like even like what time it was.
Yeah.
But like I mean, that was pretty traumatic too, like I said. And I've shared that before, but like fucking as he's dying, shit's like falling off the walls.
Yeah.
And like our toilets are fucking overflowing. Our fence was bent completely, like outside. Like weird shit. But like the last probably like 30 minutes, I remember my husband at the time, because I called him, I'm like, it's happening. You need to get home. Because we were taking shifts. And I was like, you got to come back. It's like fucking 3 something in the morning. And he comes back and it's taken like 5 of us to hold him down. And I remember my husband at the time, like looking fucking traumatized as all get, like he was like not even present. And I was like, oh, okay, I can't.
This is actually not helpful.
I can't handle this right now. Yeah.
I need you to be more than that.
Like he just was like, I mean, he was frozen. And again, not working in the medical field. I get it.
Yeah.
Like he did, but he was like there were no words.
Yeah.
I just was like, I cannot coach you through this. Well, I'm like holding my dad down. He was like dying in my arms.
Yeah.
But when I died, I shouldn't say I died. I almost died. I remember very like, it was very chaotic and like I was kind of like in and out of like consciousness, but I remember everything. Like I remember looking at the blood pressure machine. I saw that like the last blood pressure that they got on me was like 50/30,
Jesus.
which is like none.
Nothing.
It was like none of blood pressure.
Yeah, it's like, and this is what corpses would be.
Right. The fucking doors fly open. Like I hear the doors flying open. I hear the cart rolling in. Like I know exactly. They're rolling a crash cart in. They're fucking swatting clots like from me. Like I remember every fucking thing. And I just remember being like, don't let him see this. Cause my husband at the time was holding our newborn baby.
Oh shit.
And because it was during COVID and we were in a room like not fucking bigger than this.
Yeah.
And he's literally like there, like less than fucking 15 feet from me.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I told him like, don't watch this.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I just remember being very focused on like, he doesn't need to see this. This isn't fair for him. Keep him out of here. Save him. Like make sure he doesn't see that, like over and over and over again. And they're like, we've got you. It's going to be okay. And there were like 10 people in the room.
It would be interesting if they did like a study on like you and other nurses or like doctors who are specifically trained to be like paying attention to those things, right? Because I mean, you're literally like your whole career basically is to be very like trained and like hyper focused on like this is what's happening and here's how I need to assess the situation very quickly. Because I would be curious if like in a medical setting and in death and all the things, right, that kind of go in that box, if that's why you're more attuned to it.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting, like, because I'm like that when it comes to things that are like accidents or things that are like I can remember like somebody attacking somebody at Walmart many, many years ago. And I could tell you step by step, I could tell you what they were wearing. And I wonder if some of that comes from like the law enforcement part of me that was trained for so long, whereas like this is kind of your part because of all your nursing. You know what I mean? It'd
that
be
makes
interesting
sense.
to see.
Yeah. Well, fuck me
Somebody
for
do a
choosing
study.
that profession. Because God, I'm like, could I like not remember this shit?
Yeah.
You know? But then I'm like, so I remember all that, but I don't, like I shared the other day, like I don't really remember parts of my nurse practitioner program.
Right.
Like cool beans. Well, I passed. And I'm very smart. I promise.
I promise I know what I'm doing. You are safe with me.
Yeah. I since then have gotten many, many certifications and passed them nationally.
Yeah. So
but
it's all fine.
Yeah.
But I would be curious if maybe that was why that's, you know, your brain is open in a different way because that's your world. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be
I mean, that makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
if that's true. In the same way that cops keep track of different things too. Does that keep your brain open in a different way?
Yeah. Like we're just like trained to like watch
bad things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, that's really yucky.
Yeah. So having been like discharged from the hospital and then it didn't even hit me until we stopped to get like bagels on the way home to go see my firstborn. And I just fucking like lost it. And I was like, I can't believe I almost left Alana without a mom. Like the newborn, I was still, I think I'm like, well, maybe a little trauma bonded and like resentful initially. Was like, you almost fucking killed me and took me from this one, you know, and now I'd like die if anything happened to either one of them. But I very much so was like so upset about the thought of almost having left Alana without me.
Yeah.
And that like really like hit me like hard. Yeah. For a little while.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I know. I know. But like,
trauma.
of course I remember all that.
Yeah. But not what you ate for lunch yesterday.
Now I'm thinking about it.
But I can't remember my childhood. But when you say that, like I do vividly remember my grandfather when he died. I can remember lots of pieces of that one. That one was different. But that one was also very stressful for a lot of people around me. And again, I wonder if that's why I remember that differently because
like the codependence.
Yep, I was like trying to manage,
Oh yeah,
do this for this person. And I remember like when we had to go see when they wanted, they had to have somebody view the body before they would cremate him. And my mom and my aunt were there, and my aunt was like, I can't, which, respectfully so. And my grandma was like, all right. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, Granny can't go by herself, And I went with her. And I remember that vividly. And I wish I didn't remember that one. That one I wish I could take back. But I think it's because it was stressful for somebody else or it was somebody else's. Those things I remember a lot more than my own shit. Yeah, it's real healthy, too.
Yeah.
It's real great. Yeah. Really love that for everybody. Yeah, we're not 5 out of 5 on that list, or 3 out of 5 for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the nurse practitioner stuff, but I mean, that might have just been in like survival mode. Yeah. I mean, I would obviously went through the motions, but there's a good probably 6 months, and I'm like, I don't fucking couldn't tell you what we did.
Yeah, couldn't remember any of that.
Not a fucking chance.
Yeah. Well, and it's what's funny is that like not too long ago, I had ran into somebody. So when I was super sick, right before I died, I worked at the kid prison. That's where I was working.
Right.
And I had run into a girl. So that was in 2017. Okay. So we're talking many moons ago, many years ago. Many moons have passed. And I ran into somebody that I worked with there. And she's like, I was thinking the other day about how like sick you were. Like you looked like you had like cancer. Like you were so sick because I was losing weight really drastically because I couldn't keep anything in. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because I don't remember looking that sick or feeling like I looked that sick. She's like, yeah, I remember like you would walk down the hallway and you would like hold onto the wall to like get from point A to point B. And I was like, I don't remember any of that at all. I was like, I just remember going to work and like being like, oh, this fucking sucks. But yeah, she's like, I can like picture you. And I was like, that is so weird. And I don't remember that at all. And I was like, oh, that's fun for everybody. Again, sorry. My bad.
You stop fucking traumatizing me. Oh my God.
No, it's just my personality.
The
I'm
worst.
like a Tasmanian devil of trauma.
That's so funny. Yeah. I like remember all the things. Like I remember my dad's funeral. I remember,
yeah,
everything. I remember my aunt's funeral. I spoke at both. Like, can I just reuse this?
Yeah, you're just like, can I copy and paste this? Just change some names here.
I did. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, they were very different, but yeah, it's interesting. It's funny too. So like one of the other things on there is like the compliment thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, I struggle with compliments.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like.
The only thing that I do accept when people are like, oh my God, I love your hair. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I was going to say, yeah.
I think it's funny.
That's what people think.
Well,
makes
because
you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just like relish the fact that so many people, old people, like old men, old women, like people that you would think would be like more traditional, fucking go out of their way to be like, I love your hair.
Oh.
And I'm like, thanks.
You're like, thank you. How funny.
I very rarely go in public and somebody's not like, oh my God, I love your hair.
Yeah. It is very pretty. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't know if there's anything people compliment that doesn't make me want to throw up. And it's not, and I feel bad because it's not that I don't appreciate it. And it's funny because it's not that I don't love an accolade. Like an accolade's always nice. Who doesn't love to know you don't suck? But if you could mail it to me and I could open it in the bathroom by myself, it would probably be the easiest. Because when I have to see it, I'm like, oh, which is ironic because I also hate people when they're mean to me. And also that destroys my soul. So I'm like, you can't win either way with me. I don't want you to be nice to me, but don't be mean to me.
So you just be like lukewarm.
Yeah, just be like, you exist.
Like, hey,
person.
You.
Good to see you in this world. That's almost too far.
I'm glad. Yeah. Good job being here.
Good job with your things.
Just being you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I don't mind, like, when people compliment my son and they think he's mine. I love that because it's so cute. Because it's like, I didn't make him, but I'll take credit for his cute little face, And it always makes my husband, like, he gets this look on his face and he's like, I did make that, damn it. But because he looks more like me. Yeah, because I'm like, he's super white like I am and he's got his little freckles just like I do. So everyone always assumes like he's probably hers. Maybe that guy's. Who knows? You know, it's New Mexico. Who the fuck knows? But
I know my firstborn looks a lot like my husband, but she doesn't look like either one of it. Like me
That's
and
so
her
funny.
her biological dad. I don't think she looks like either one of us.
Yeah.
But her and Mike are like,
yeah, it's always my favorite when they're like, "Your little boy is so cute." I'm like, "Thank you."
yes,
Definitely
yes.
didn't make it, but I'm to take partial credit for it.
It's funny.
Yeah, so that's probably the only compliment I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't make me want to like vomit. But I don't know. I guess I'd have to like research more why like that. I'm sure they've done research on why that like freaks people out.
Yeah.
Outside of just trauma, there has to be. I would assume there has to be more than just trauma.
So I'm sitting here like thinking, I'm doing the thing where like my mouth is open.
Yeah.
And I'm like
I think
trying
for
to
me,
think.
you know what it is? I think sometimes too is that I don't always trust the authenticity. And I think it's because I grew up with somebody who very much loves the praise and maybe doesn't always garner that or deserve it. And so for me, it's like it always feels kind of inauthentic, even if you do deserve it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. It makes me like hesitant or it feels tricky. Like, are you being nice and are you complimenting me because you're going to kill me?
I don't think they're trying to kill you, Rebecca.
You know, I don't know. Weirder shit has happened.
Not.
No.
Okay. So let it happen. I don't know really why. I'm trying to think of like why, like at the core, why it makes me uncomfortable.
You know what's even worse is when people compliment me and then just keep the eye contact the whole time. Yeah, see? Yeah, they're like, you look really nice today. And I'm like, you have to get the fuck out of this country. And so do I.
And we can't go to the same other country.
No, two different ones. You get Switzerland, I'll take Italy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily that I feel like undeserving. Maybe I used to feel like that. I don't know. Yeah, maybe like in the last year and a half, I feel like, man, I really do feel like the Phoenix, you know? Like I fucking, like,
burned out.
people did, everything they could to fucking just burn me to the ground. And then I just was like, watch this, bitches, here I come. Yeah, you know?
Like, suck it, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, did you just like literally take everything that I worked for the last 5 years and you just boop?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's fine, you can keep that because you're going to burn that.
Yeah,
and I'm going
to.
And did, yeah.
And now look at you.
And now look at me.
Yeah.
In my building.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because we were doing all the stuff today, the videos where I have to be like, I'm Rebecca and I've created the Lotus effect and here's what I do. And I'm like, this is really, even that's uncomfortable for me. It's the same thing like having to put all the certificates up. I'm like, this feels very braggy. And it's funny because we don't do a lot of braggy in my family. Like that's not a thing. Mm-hmm. It's just, you just do the things and that's it. And you don't talk about it. You don't brag about it. You don't get like a shit ton of praise about it. It just, that's what you do.
Do you think that's why your family doesn't know exactly what it is that you do?
Maybe, probably, because I probably don't tell anybody anything. So that's why everybody's like, oh, I didn't know you were certified in these 725,000 things. Mm-hmm. Maybe, but come to my office. You will know.
The only way you're going to know that I'm great
is if you come to my office.
Is if you go out of your way to figure it out.
Drive to my office or ask for a picture. There's that too. I will,
Yeah, but then
I'll
it's
take
like
a
zoom
Christmas
in.
card with all the things behind, you know?
You should just be like,
I do these things here.
I do these.
Yes. Okay, so now we know we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good time.
Yeah. Well, there's one more, though, that we missed. Compliments, asking for help.
Highly independent.
Yeah. What's the other one? Compliments, asking for help. Help me out here.
Oh, fuck.
No more trauma in you don't remember your childhood.
You don't remember your childhood. And you'll do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
Did you say that one?
You did.
Give it to me, Anthony Hopkins.
Give it to me.
I wonder if he knows they use his voice for these things.
Well, he's
like,
is it Anthony Hopkins?
That is him. Yeah, that's his voice.
Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% sure. I have literally watched
wonder if you're wrong.
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, when people are nice to you.
That one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you're not used to people doing something nice. You apologize even when you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
That's because you always got blamed even when it wasn't your fault.
I don't know about that.
You think, you can't remember your childhood.
Is that Anthony? Yeah, it's Anthony.
I don't know. I don't think it's Anthony.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You can't accept compliments.
I need somebody to fucking
And
write
you
in
never
on that
ask.
one.
You never ask people to help you.
Dude, I've watched Silence of the Lambs 7 zillion fucking times. I know exactly who the fuck that is.
Okay.
Also, you're terrible at the movie thing.
You're autism, so yeah, you're probably better at it than I am.
Well, you know what it's because, too, is that when I was a kid, I used to take my $3 and I would take the bus. And I'm talking pretty little, actually. I was very little when I would do this. So this is, like, not the safest fucking story. I was probably about 8, 9 years old. And I'd get on the bus and I would go to the movie theater in Las Cruces. And I would pay for my $1 ticket to go to the movie. And then I would get a pickle. And I would get some popcorn. Because I like to dig a hole in the pickle and then shove the popcorn in it.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Yeah, and then I would literally movie hop. And I was so little that I'm sure they knew that I was doing it. There's no way I didn't stand out, and I think they just let me do it. And I would stay, so there were 4 theaters, and I would go to all 4 movies, and then I would go home. And that's what I would do all the time. So I've seen like a zillion movies because I had a lot of time to hang out
By yourself.
by myself in a movie theater at the age of like 9, 10.
Yeah, that's safe.
Super safe. Yeah.
I used to scrounge our couch for like 65 cents to go buy a Snickers bar for dinner. And then I would walk across
Nice.
2nd Street,
Ooh.
2nd and Osuna.
Nice.
I would walk across the street into the gas station where all the drug deals happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
very
they
safe.
knew who I was.
They're like, hey.
They're like, oh, that's the McLean kid. And I buy my little Snickers bar, and then I go home, and that's what I eat for dinner.
Oh, that's good. That's healthy.
Well, because the commercial said it was.
Well, it has peanuts.
Yeah, peanuts, chocolate, and nougat, and it's like supposed to curb your hunger or whatever the fuck, and that's what I ate.
Oh, yeah.
No fucking clue where my parents were, but
Yeah. Same. I don't know.
I mean, they were definitely doing drugs somewhere.
Oh, my mom wasn't doing drugs. I think she was probably at work, if I had to guess. That would be my guess. That's usually where she was. So.
Nice.
All right. Well, kids these days don't follow in those footsteps.
Kids these days just don't do that.
No, don't do any of that. My God. Okay. Are you ready for your animal fact of the day?
I fucking can't wait.
Okay. Did you know? This is a
No.
little one because I wasn't as prepared today. Sorry, I'm a little off today. Most days. Did you know that the woodpecker, their tongue goes all the way around their brain so that when they woodpeck, it doesn't give them brain damage and just bang their brain into their skull. Instead, it bangs it into their tongue like a little airbag and keeps them safe while they're woodpecking all day. Yeah, you're welcome. Angelo knew you would love that one. Yeah, and if you look at a picture, it's like their tongue, and then it just goes all the way
Ew.
around. I know, but it keeps it's like a little airbag.
I know. Ew. Why,
Yeah.
why did it have to be their tongue? Couldn't it just be like an airbag?
I don't know. Call God. I didn't make him. I didn't make him.
I'm going to make that phone call right after this short break.
The woodpeckers. I don't know, but I think it's so cool.
Wow, that's a lot of information you've provided for me today.
You're welcome.
Wow, yeah.
Good
No, I
times.
did like that one. Thanks,
Thank you.
Angelo, for
Yeah, he knew you was. He's like, oh, I can already tell who's gonna love that
Yep.
one. I was like, yeah, she's getting real excited about the animal facts these days.
I am. I feel good. I'm gonna go tell my husband right foot
Yeah,
now.
and actually, I probably should start sprinkling in some like other random facts that I also know.
Why?
I just think animal ones are better, but also I don't know. Maybe not everybody likes an animal fact. You know?
Well, I don't really like everybody. So what,
Ah, it's just a
if
dick.
you don't like the animal fact, you can fuck off.
Yeah, you can eat a bag of dicks.
Who the fuck doesn't like animal facts?
Take a drink. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. We love your faces. Ba-doop. Oh, I forgot our goodbye.
Oh, it's something about
May
Petty
your
Luya.
healing irritate the fuck out of everyone that deserves it. Petty Luya.
Petty Luya.
Okay.